missteps from the Mad Lions as well. And, well, if you see that DAMWON, when you start throwing a lot of quick decisions their way, they start overextending perhaps with barrel or looking for fights that are not advantageous. Mad Lions' composition was very good at punishing that last game. The Braum, in effect, meant that if ever Ghost of Barrel went in and it was a mistake, it was always going to net them away with the kill, and their skirmishing nature of their comp let them go for 3v3s, 4v4s all around the map.
Importantly, DAMWON have got the blue side this game. Tahm Kench removed by Mad, so that implies they're going to leave up the Senna, and we have kind of
Varus,
moved,
I think.
The Varus, sorry, yes.
I think
leave
they're
up the
going to ban
Varus.
the Senna and leave the Varus. At least that would be my prediction.
Well, I'll stick with the Senna, and one of us will be right.
One of us will be right, yeah.
Let's go. Here we go. Thresh already taken away. Does mean, of course, the Rumbles, the Morganas still available here. Mad could decide to ban out the Morgana instead. Of course, you could leave up both Varus and Senna. And to take
Ban Morgana! You both lose, I win!
Ender wins!
So, what's interesting here is Europe. Well, actually, not even Europe. I believe DAMWON also played Senna Cho'Gath. But obviously Rogue domestically were well known for that combination in particular, and it wouldn't surprise me if Kazi and Kaiser did the same. I believe they were also the Senna Wukong bot lane, right? So I think that there are still options to play the Senna, but I think that what removing the Tahm Kench does is it gives less lane power to the Varus while also giving less security and safety, which means that the low mobility champion could be at risk further on into the team fights and the laning phase.
It's also about like how solely do you want to play the game. Do you want to have like the guaranteed outscale factor of a Senna in your draft, or instead do you want to go back to what we saw a little bit in game one, where it's about pushing lanes, it's about getting inside the enemy jungle, and well, it's not the Volibear this time. Udyr still remains a higher tier, a higher echelon of champion, and Kaiser on the Leona now. They need hard engage, because you remember in game one, we saw a very similar draft. We saw the Varus and the Rumble come out of DAMWON, and they just beat Mad Lions because Mad Lions did not have enough tools to initiate team fights. Already with the Leona, you've got that.
There's a big difference between a Rel engage, which is what we had in game one, and a Leona engage. The speed, the distance at which you can engage on it, and the ability to follow up is so much stronger with the Leona. Team that up with a Kaiser who can dive in with a killer instinct, and you actually have a way here for Mad Lions to get onto the back line.
I think what's interesting here is obviously the pivot away from Zoe. The Yone answer to the Zoe was something that Mad don't want to deal with, and they're worried about any other potential picks. And I think Ender says it very fairly that when it comes to these series and this game, it's more about team fighting, and 100%. Zoe is a very difficult champion to team fight with. Not so much for Showmaker, but definitely seems to be the case for Human.
Yeah, Showmaker and DAMWON are the masters of team fighting with Zoe. You need an exceptional amount of patience and coordination with your team to pull that off. So I think a direction more along the lines of the Silas, perhaps, that we saw in the last game. The Lee Sin, of course, looked good for Armut, but that is banned away. The Wukong was something that DAMWON chose to ban from Armut in game one, and I would almost expect to see that come out here as well.
I like the Zoe ban. I think it's smart. It shows respect towards Showmaker as well. I am wondering if Mad is thinking about the Gnar themselves right now. They do have the first pick. The Scion has been banned away as that weak side top for Khan that he is extremely proficient on. With the Lee Sin gone as well, you would imagine that Khan would go for something like a Jace, which of course gives you a lot of poke and long range damage with Jace, Rumble, Varus, which is obviously very terrifying in its own right. So perhaps Mad even want to take it away themselves, get themselves the Jace, lock themselves a strong top side, and we did see, of course, Armut get that solo kill in game one.
I think Mad Lions may want to go away from the Jace personally, because I think that without the hard engage, you will just get punished. You will get outranged. You will, of course, run into plenty of issues later on down the road. Even if the early game went well, we've seen that it comes down to the fights in order for Mad Lions to come away with the win. So it will be the Orianna now giving counterpick to Armut in the top side in case that Gnar does come out. He has a good option into that one, and Leona plus Orianna, of course, going to be very strong.
Yeah, such strong team fighting already coming out here from the Mad Lions. Perhaps a little less skirmish heavy than we saw in game two, but Mad in the LEC were known for their team fights. That's how they beat Rogue in the finals. They out-team fought them over and over again. And it is obviously a very difficult challenge to out-team fight the best team fighting team in the world in the form of DWG Kia. But Mad Lions seem to be willing to take that gamble, to take that battle around neutral objectives. And next up is the Gnar here for DWG. We'll see what they decide to lock in for the mid lane.
So how will they round their composition out? Because right now they've got a lot of damage, they have a lot of crowd control. It looks like they're going to put the Jace in mid. I believe. Unless you know of a Jace jungle that I don't know about.
Maybe once upon a time, but I don't think so anymore. And I think this is going to be very strong. We've seen Showmaker go to some AD mids in the past. So when you have a Rumble in the jungle, you definitely like to see that. But it does leave open the Wukong counter for Armut here. Has gotten bullied in the lane versus the Gnar, but once level 6 unlocks, if you invite a jungler perhaps into the top lane, you can punish a mini Gnar quite easily.
So, Showmaker showcasing here a different champion once again in Game 3. I'm excited to see how his Jace does do. I think that this lane can be... Well, I think it can be pretty skill intensive, especially when you are playing like the hybrid between range and melee. You can play relatively safe, but your all-in burst potential from the Jace against an Orianna is very threatening, especially if a Rumble ult does come down on top, but very little crowd control in this mid-jungle duo. When you compare that to the Orianna and Udyr, Orianna doesn't necessarily have a huge amount of power in the early game, but when you set that up with an Udyr, it definitely can be a threatening mid-jungle that, in theory, has push and pressure, which is what Mad Lions want to use in the early game.
Yeah, for DAMWON, it is once again a composition harkening back to Game 1 where range advantages when you come to the team fights, the ability to poke out with the Jace, but now Mad Lions have so many better options for seeking out the vulnerable backline, for finding Ghost, for finding Showmaker. They don't have to worry about a Tahm Kench protecting them anymore, and now they have Armut on the Wukong to find the flanks and start off the fights.
And as we get on into the third game of this series, I think Mad Lions have already overcome a lot of people's expectations. I read a lot on Twitter, a lot on Reddit. 3-0. Easy clap for DAMWON, and that second game from Mad Lions really started to show the Mad Lions that we know and love in the LEC. The Mad Lions that took down Rogue, that took down G2 on their way to a title, that came into the LEC only last year when we're already beating G2 in their first season. The Mad Lions that can really challenge the best in the world.
The question is, can they do it again? Because we have to be honest, there were a lot of misplays, specifically from the DAMWON bot lane in Game 2, and then later on into the game, there were mistakes that we don't typically see from DAMWON, yet they almost got a Baron. If they had gotten that Baron, perhaps the game looks very different. If it wasn't for Kazi making that play, perhaps that game looks very different. We did see Mad force a dive in the mid lane that also could have gone horribly wrong. And so while we did see Mad get themselves a much needed and big win against DAMWON, I still think that DAMWON have showcased that they are an extremely difficult team to shut down even when you find leads against them. So let's see what Mad can do this time round. Can they get themselves another early game advantage, or at the very least go even with DAMWON in the early game?
Well, it does look a little bit different, especially that top lane matchup. No longer will it be the Jace for Armut, and you expect, I mean, already with how Khan's positioning in that top lane, very far forward, hitting the wave before it even arrives there, it will secure him priority, and that means Elyoya can't look for any early invades, pushes towards the top side. So then does Canyon change his pathing? Of course, he was concerned in the first game, perhaps, that he could get invaded on the top side. It still will be Raptors up to his top camps, but this time, no ward from the Mad Lions to tell them what's going on.
Showmaker already trading aggressively here onto Humanoid, has the Conqueror on the Jace. I did have a quick look. In 2020, he was 4-0 on this Jace, undefeated on it across the course of his career. And you can see Humanoid already down to 100 HP and has popped 2 of those Corrupting Potion stacks.
And here's that burst potential that we were talking about as a hook does land.
Trade in, heal coming out, Beryl ignited. Beryl once again steps a little bit too far forward, and Mad Lions have another brother on the rift.
Another 2v2 kill for the Mad Lions. In Game 1, they started it off with that under their tower. In Game 2, they did it 2, 3, 4 times, and in Game 3, it happens again.
And throughout the course of our research, we wondered who could be the weak points for DAMWON. We have seen Beryl overstep a few too many times in the course of this MSI tournament, and once again, we see him just go a little bit too greedy here, Vedius.
You can't hard engage into a Leona. Medic, you're a big Leona enthusiast. You've been in this position before, and I imagine you would have done the exact same thing as Kaiser there. Like, the opportunity is too easy. You make it too easy for the Leona. And let's bring up that graphic once again, because, yeah, he was the potential weak point, and it wasn't just us theorizing it. Many people talked about that potential weak point. Beryl's inconsistency so far in the Rumble stage has been a large part of DAMWON's faltering. Even though they've come out ahead, even with some of his mistakes, you have to question how often they can get away with that performance.
And it's ultimately, you can say it's a poor decision, whatnot. It's fundamentally a misread on the output of damage between these champions. Sure, he's maybe not seen as much Varus. It's gotten banned quite a lot, but you have to know at level 1 the output of a Kai'Sa plus Leona lane. It's something we have seen plenty of times here at MSI, and I'm sure is popping up in scrims and solo queue as well.
Whew. So, while we were talking about the bot lane, Canyon was doing Canyon things as well. He's going to get the double scuttle once more, because what Kazi and Kai'Sa did was to punish Ghost even more. They actually set up a slow push towards them, so they didn't actually have priority in the lane, and Showmaker was pushing in mid early on as well, which means that Canyon immediately pathed towards the bot side scuttle, was able to secure that, and with the pressure that Khan has in top lane, he's also able to get the top side scuttle too. So, small disadvantage for Aljoya that Canyon is fortunately able to do as he often does on this Rumble pick.
The important thing always for DAMWON here is how they place their vision in the early game as well, from having priority in these lanes. Wallop goes a little bit wide in the top lane, but you can see already those Scuttle Crabs wards littering the river here for DAMWON. And no real vision for Mad Lions. They've got, I think, 2 wards on the map, one next to the Crocs on the top side and one down towards this bottom side in that river bush. It's so much darker for Mad Lions and so much harder for them to track Canyon and try and shut down him in the early game, because when Canyon gets ahead, it's basically impossible to deal with DAMWON here.
Yeah, it can be so frustrating. We saw his Rumble ults in game 1. No real summoners left in the bot lane for either side, and you'll see Armut is forced out of lane, and this is going to have potential drawbacks to the bot lane 2 versus 2. You see Aljoya playing here, but Armut is likely going to have to teleport back into top lane or risk losing a massive wave if Khan holds on to a TP advantage. That shuts down so many playmaking opportunities for the Mad Lions in that 2v2. So if Armut does end up channeling the TP, and I believe he will. Now if Khan instead holds on to his, that's big news for Ghost and Barrel.
Early on here, Mad Lions just trying to gain small advantages where we can. We've already seen Kazi get a slight lead in the bottom lane. Mid lane very much in favor of Showmaker. 8 CS ahead, and that mid lane matchup is one that we wanted to keep our eyes on throughout the course of this series, because basically Showmaker and Humanoid are the first and the second best mid laners at the tournament so far. Humanoid really stepping up, but Showmaker continues to impress, and when he can bring up things like the Jace, when he can bring out these powerful AD mid laners like the Yone in game 1, he can really take over a game.
Yeah, in terms of laning phase, Humanoid I think has definitely impressed and surprised many. As now they're looking for an all-in in mid.
Has the Shockwave knocked back straight into the waiting arms of Canyon, who has to flash forward to get the kill, but will manage to get DAMWON Kira on the board.
The all-in burst damage, Jace plus Rumble, it is nuts. And Humanoid cannot escape. A good hook lands in the bot lane, but Barrel correctly starts backing on out of there. Now Khan, who walked back to the top lane, he's just in a 1v1, but Armut, why? You gotta run towards the...
Khan's building up his Nega. Armut is going ring around the roses. Khan misses his jump. Aljoya flashes in. The Phoenix is enough, and that is the worst series of professional plays I have seen in a long time.
My eyes!
What is going on? So...
More like can't, hey?
Well, wow, okay. Now, the question is, can Canyon redeem this? He doesn't have... Well, he does have his ultimate again, I'm lying. Oh, hang on, they're threatening the dive top.
TP's coming out here from Showmaker. He's going to join this team.
My word.
That's 2 TPs invested into the top lane.
And Showmaker, though, has to save his top laner. Like... Right now, it feels like Canyon and Showmaker kind of have to pick up the falling pieces of DAMWON. The 2v2 was struggling, and you have to see Canyon trying to path around that bot, offering some protection and security as their summoners were on cooldown. And in the top side, Showmaker, he can't leverage the TP back to lane, and instead he now has to walk back to lane, so Humanoid's going to be able to make up some of that depth, and look, he even has a level advantage now over Showmaker as well.
I mean, because the whole wave is lost in mid, right? Because Armut and Aljoya walking away from the turret, we're just in DAMWON's blue buff side jungle. Showmaker has to reset. He can't walk back through there, so he's going to end up losing a whole lot off of that play, and... Well, we have to take a moment to relax, because it's still close in gold, right? Like, so many strange things have happened over the last 2 games, especially. I do feel like we are still very close to right on even here.
I think that's the important thing. Let's take a breath. Let's take a moment just to analyze the state of this game right now. Gold basically even between the 2 teams. DAMWON did pick up an Ocean Drake early on. There's 3 minutes on the mountain, and that will come up soon. Bot lane, the CS is even. Of course, Kazi got that early kill, but there's a level advantage for Ghost. Ghost in that bottom lane. He's already got his ultimate, whereas Kazi's still only level 5. And you can see Ghost working up to join his jungler on this Rift Herald.
It's cute, too, that Showmaker and Ghost are deciding to build all the same items together.
Yeah.
Matching twinsies right there. And, of course, with the roam up towards the Rift Herald, this is something we saw them do in Game 1, too. So on blue side, a bit of a tendency, moving both support and AD carry to make sure they get that on towards Canyon. They've got big waves crashing on the top side, and Canyon may just choose to drop that one right away. They've got the wave to do it, but like we saw in the last game too, he always likes to make sure he can escort Khan all the way fully into the tower in case of fear of a gank, because we know level 6 on Wukong plus jungler means very dead Gnar.
Certainly does. Mini Gnar, particularly squishy as well. You can see Canyon hovering around mid once more. Humanoid still no flash. Humanoid hovering to the bot side of his river, where he feels a little bit safer. But I'm still keeping my eyes on Canyon. Does have the ult available, just looking for that opportunity. But with the wave where it is, it looks like they're not going to go for it. Instead, oh, never mind. Yes, he is.
There's Equalizer. Humanoid doesn't have anywhere to go. The shock wave will bring Showmaker back. The harpoon goes wide, and Humanoid is able to survive.
Phase Rush, really good rune. That's why you should run it.
Even after the nerfs, doesn't matter.
It was, it's the bonus movement speed allowed him to get away. Canyon did miss that final skill shot, which allowed Humanoid to get to safety. And of course, without his flash, as we see another engage in the bot lane.
Bevel's going to hook onto Kaiser here. The aftershock's going to keep him quite tanky. There's the solar flare as well into the killer instinct. Bevel is ignited. He's ticking, flashes away. Will survive to fight another day. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Karnar's armored into the wall. As the Rift Herald, I believe, has been charged. Lyoya is looking for that fight in the top side. Rift Herald goes in, gets the plates, and the tower in the mid lane. Karn flashes away from Lyoya. Is smited. Humanoid in the mid will get forced away by Canyon. That Rift Herald is going to get another charge in. Mad Lions trying to play on a couple of sides of the map here, but DAMWON Kia are the team getting the gold lead, getting the advantage out of this.
Fights just going on in all 3 lanes, right? But because of that Rift Herald, you're right, they knock down the mid lane turret so quickly. Arma, very low HP, low mana, so it's very hard for him to actually step forward and start autoing this tower.
Has no flash.
They have to go for the dive.
He just used the jump. Flash forward from Lyoya into the Tiger stance, into the Phoenix, and Armut will secure the kill.
So Mad are getting themselves kills, but losing that mid tower also costs you a lot of map control, because now Showmaker and Canyon can easily push this wave in extremely deep, and it gives them so much more time to be able to move around the map. Good ultimate from Canyon.
Oh, that was so close. Canyon does almost have the flash back up. He's looking for it. Flame Spitter coming out. There's the bear stance from Lyoya for the stun. Canyon has the opportunity to go in. Humanoid getting chased here by Bevel in the mid lane. There's the phase rush. Vedi once again allows him to walk out for the moment. Showmaker prepping the accelerated shock blast. Will not use it. Bevel steps underneath the tower. Kaiser flashes forward, but he's not under tower anymore. There's the solar flare, goes a little bit wide. Humanoid manages to survive. Oh, this is so close. It's a matter of inches.
It's just trying to make us lose our minds. You're so close to kills going down over and over again, and it feels like DAMWON have figured out a really good way of attacking the mid lane, and up until just a moment ago, Mad Lions had put zero thought really into controlling vision around mid, and that's how we saw Canyon come mid a couple of times in a row with the equalizer out of the Fog Vor plus Showmaker. Tons of burst damage, especially against a flashless target, but now the tides have shifted a bit as Humanoid is forced back to base.
On his way.
Now DAMWON have 3 players in the top lane.
So really importantly, Showmaker was spotted by the control ward on the red buff as he blast coned over. Armut was going forward, but as soon as he saw Showmaker, he used the clone to get away. And Mad are trying to make a play on the bottom side of the map as Bevel doesn't have the flash, but Mad Lions don't really have the engage tools without the solar flare.
Canyon should be here pretty soon, and Humanoid does have TP. Armut has TP, so TP advantage massive for the Mad Lions currently. They're just trying to zone them off of this turret, and DAMWON may not respect the potential teleports to come on in here.
Hook out of the Zenith blade, Kazi stepping in, there's the equalizer, and Kaiser just cannot walk away. Canyon with a long-range kill in the bottom lane as the piercing arrow will connect as well. Ghost has already used the Chain of Corruption, and Kazi has to try and find a way out of this one. And Lyoya's coming in from the top side. TP behind immediately. Here comes Armut on the Wukong.
Oh!
A 3-man cyclone immediately kills off Bevel, and there's the next. The double knock-up. Canyon's down, Bevel's down, Ghost is down. And Mad Lions are getting down in the bottom lane.
What a disgusting bait there from the Mad Lions. Run it all the way back. There's just 1 minion left underneath the tower. Not just 1 TP, it is 2. And a 3-man cyclone from Armut. Beautiful from the Mad Mad Lions.
You know, Kazi's typing in all chat, call an ambulance as he's running away.
Oh,
and then as the TPs come through, he says, but not for me. Beautiful wombo combo comes out from Mad Lions. The use of the teleport was good, and we're going to get a look back at it. So here, I think this is an overcommitment for Mad. They don't respect the ability, or the timing, really, of Canyon returning to the play. This means that Kaiser ends up getting punished as we're immediately live, and Khan is dead again.
Khan doesn't have flash, doesn't have anywhere to go, and did you forget about Armut? He is on his Wukong, the two-time TCL champion, showing you why you gotta ban out the monkey.
All right, they get it now, Medic. They know he was on the TCL a couple of times.
Of course, Mad have a healthy kill lead, but they don't have a healthy gold lead. Showmaker still has a huge gold advantage in the mid lane, largely because of the towers that he was able to take. Oh, Elyoya cleverly avoids Beryl and now has his eyes on Ghost.
Chain of Corruption's going to stop him. Ghost pops the cleanse as well there.
I think to remove the slow from the smite was what he was cleansing out there so that he couldn't get chased down by Humanoid or Elyoya. And now Elyoya is still hovering, but look at the collapse coming out from DAMWON. They push in mid, and now both Canyon and Showmaker are making their way down. And we can see from the gold, Showmaker still a little bit behind Kazi, but he and Canyon are a large part of where they're closing this gold gap.
The leads aren't quite as massive, but it's a very similar story to Game 2, where Kazi, the most gold in the game, on a carry again for the Mad Lions, and Showmaker, the primary hope, hasn't contributed too much in this game, right? He's been winning out his mid lane pretty consistently, got an assist with Canyon visiting around mid, but on that, Jace will be waiting to see what his impact can be later. He's got his Eclipse, and Humanoid's been sidetracking his build pretty heavily. Of course, went for the tier 2 boots and the Seeker's Arm Guard on top of that, but the Herald has spawned again, but this time the Mad Lions are here for it.
DAMWON aren't going to fight this one. You have to feel as Showmaker's pushing in the bottom lane. Canyon down here as well, securing himself a Scuttle Crab, and Mad will be able to get their first Rift Herald of the game. And DAMWON, though, evening out that gold as much as they can. It's about 200, 300 to 500, depending on where the wave states are so far. Divine Sundra finished for Armut on this Wukong, and Lyoya's looking for Khan once again. Here comes Kaiser. Flash available for the Gnar. There's the Solar Flare. Flashes away, but the Shield of Daybreak's done. Into the Zenith Blade chase. Mad Lions are shutting Khan out of this game of League of Legends.
They certainly are. Often we've seen teams try to attack that weak side of the map, and when Armut is on this Wukong, it is a tried and true strategy for Mad Lions, actually play through him. We've got to remember that Kazi and Kaiser were able to find some advantages in the straight up 2 versus 2, and while we saw a couple TP plays bot, a lot of Mad's focus has actually been in the top side this game, while DAMWON have been trying to focus through mid. And while Showmaker is strong, when you compare him to someone like Armut, he is not quite as close, and the threat of Armut is going to be scary as the team fights start to come around.
Absolutely, and as the pace of the game quickens, DAMWON look a little bit less comfortable, right? Khan getting picked off multiple times in the side lane. DAMWON not doing a good job of tracking teleport timers from the Mad Lions solo laners. Mad Lions, they have the tools, right? Whenever their ults are ready, like, they can go and fight. They can try to increase the speed at which they play this game and try to catch DAMWON off guard over and over.
I do like this from Mad, investing into clearing out this bot side vision. There are still some deep wards, and we can see that Khan does have the teleport available to him, so the risk of a flank is very real. But let's see what actually happens, because right now Mad's investing their deep vision of their own and want to try and contest for this mid tier 1.
Well, Rift Herald goes down. This should be enough just to charge in and take it. May leave it on just a couple of 100 HP as DAMWON are going to try and stop the Rift Herald from getting the charge in, but it will smack its forehead into the tower. Still, the tower survives for the moment. Meanwhile, Khan in the top lane will take a turret of his own. That will be traded on the bottom side of the map for the Mad Lions. There are a turret down in total right now, but for the moment, they will be okay with that.
With the top pressure, though, DAMWON can have a battle over the jungle camps, right? Raptors and Krugs have both respawned on the top side of the map, so Mad Lions responding in kind bot lane too. Do they even reveal their intentions here? They may just want to hide for the time being, canceling their recalls. They know someone's gonna come back bot lane. I wonder who that someone's going to be.
Oh, and immediately the observers pan over to Beryl. Of course, Beryl pathing up towards mid, wants to sit there with his
own, though.
This is a huge time investment, though. If this play does not work out, I feel like that they're gonna lose a lot. Showmaker, do they see him?
They do, now,
okay,
as he sees all of them.
Honestly, yes. Humanoid did the Krugs. He counter-jungled the Krugs there, and I think that may give Showmaker some idea that something could be going on.
Right? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Showmaker's such a talented player. If he was like, the Krugs have recently been killed, this suggests that an enemy is in the nearby area.
Calculated.
Calculated.
Just a little bit of bad timing there from Mad. 20 seconds though on the Infernal Dragon. It's a Dragon apiece so far, so neither team really stacking up towards that Soul.
With that though, double control wards deep in the DAMWON jungle, and Armut has teleport on that Wukong. That one where they're all camping the brush needs to be spotted out. Will it? It does. That's critical. Now you don't have that free flank option. Armut is still close to his team and may just sacrifice top lane entirely, even with the wave pushing in. He wants to be there right at the start of the team fight.
Now, we are seeing something that DAMWON is very good at, controlling the side waves. Have a quick look and you can see that they're successfully pushing out bot, pushing out top as Mad get control of the Drake. For now, it seems DAMWON's willing to give this one up in exchange for some top damage onto the tower. And it seems that they don't actually want to risk the fight right now. They probably consider that they're a little bit weaker. Will Showmaker try the steal? Nope, he's not going to get it. Instead, that exchange of towers will come through. So nothing too crazy going to happen for now.
DAMWON have been very good at just chipping away at these turrets over and over, though. You can see mid tier 2 down to 200 HP. Khan almost takes out the top tier 2, and DAMWON have the priority line here down towards the mid lane. This tower will fall on this minion wave push. Kazi trying to get off towards the top side. That's 2 towers. There's a solar flare. Kaiser going in. Beryl stepping forward as well. And Kaiser's overstepped. DAMWON Kia will jump and take him out.
That was a very surprising engage, especially with Humanoid in bot lane, and you know he's used his teleport in mid. Now Kazi could be caught out.
Khan has the mega building up, but the killer instinct coming out from Kazi will keep him alive for the moment. Humanoid is pushing down the bot lane. Alioya catches the mid wave. There is Baron on the cards in about 30 seconds here for DAMWON if they want to start setting up around it.
And they still got Humanoid full pushing down that bot side, so it will just be the kill onto Kaiser. A questionable engage to say the least without any damage dealers around. Humanoid can continue, take away some jungle camps, and I think this is fine. Gold very close between the two teams, and evaluating the team fights as we get deeper and deeper into the game. I feel like it can be pretty close between the two sides, really just looking at how well the key players are able to execute on their ultimates. Canyon plus Khan, how does that pan out? And does Ghost just die here?
Flashes away, but there's the shockwave, pulls him back, and Alioya takes the kill.
Beautiful stuff there from Mad, and a good punish. They now have their eyes set on the Baron.
They're pinging it.
Remember that Canyon does have his ultimate, but Khan has no rage built up. He has the TP, but there's no vision here. Here we are, going to be solid. Oh, there is that one ward in the tri-bush above.
One ward just above them. You feel Mad are pulling DAMWON into this fight. They know they don't have an AD carry. Armor going in, there's the Zenith Blade, and Mad immediately disengaged. The Equalizer coming out as well. Beryl able to keep himself alive for the moment. Khan building up the Mega Nav as quickly as he can. Baron down to 5,000 HP. Canyon has the flash, has the smite, can go in.
No more Cyclone.
Armor forced off towards the top side. He has to flash away, and now Canyon could just walk straight into the pit. The Baron is secured for the Mad Lions, but they have lost Armut. And now the question is, Mad do continue to engage. The Solar Flare going out. Canyon's down. 1 for 1, but the Shockwave onto
There's nowhere to run.
There is nowhere to go because Khan has the flank. Kazi has to try and survive. Kaiser trying to get away towards the bottom side. Kazi spotted out on a ward. He's down as Ghost will take him out. Kaiser dodges to the side of the hook, but you can't dodge the depth charge. Locked up in place. And although Mad Lions get the Baron, DAMWON Kia get the ace.
Losing every single player for the Baron, that cannot be worth it. Even after Ghost had fallen before the fight, it lasted long enough. He's able to show up at the very end too in this new the Axe effect replay. You can see the Cyclone, it's decent on the Beryl, but with Aftershock to flash away, he can kite it on out, and Mad Lions have to make the decision. Do we kill Baron, or do we turn for the fight? But now Armut doesn't have his ulti ready to go. He gets chased off, forced off to the other side, and now they're just stuck in the pit, Venius. Yeah, the Baron actually did so much work, and Canyon also chunks out Humanoid, so while it looks like they're looking to collapse onto Canyon, I think, oh, that pickup from Showmaker as well. If the Orianna lives, I think there's a world in which Mad is able to turn this fight around, but Showmaker landing those beautiful skill shots. The blue orb coming down as well, forcing Kazi to stop his recall, means that Mad cannot disengage. All 5 members lose the Baron, and DAMWON come out on top. Showmaker, we've been waiting. What can he make happen on this Jace pick? He'd had a good solid laning phase throughout, but it's the team fights where he comes completely online. We're back onto the Mad Lions with pressure inside DAMWON's jungle, but Humanoid, again, is nowhere near the rest of his team.
Showmaker now at 3 items, Eclipse, Muramana, and the Serpent's Fang for the Orianna shields, for the Killer Instinct shields, as Mad Lions look to try and take out their first mid lane tower, but The equalizer will stop them in their tracks. A minute on the Infernal Drake would be their third of the game, but now they are 2,000 gold behind. DAMWON Kia well in control of this game. Elyoya flashing forward. They're trying to get Khan. They're trying to get something. The rest of Mad are on the chase. Khan building up the Mega, though. Armut looking for the Cyclone opportunity, but he just can't get close enough, and that is a burnt flash for nothing as DAMWON Kia march down the mid lane.
Yeah, all 5 members were committed to the bot side of the map. Humanoid is doing his best to get back, but I think that's just going to be a free mid-tier 3 for DAMWON. Both their AD carry and mid laner are there to siege.
Check this out though, Madlines, they're not resetting. They're looking for the long flank through mid lane. They had a ward in mid, spotting out where both Barrel and Canyon were. So DAMWON, they back it up. Maybe they want to fight on their own terms.
They're diving onto Khan. The killer instinct coming out. Khan doesn't have the Mega Gnar, and that is a very dead
Humanoid
Gnar.
on the flank.
Humanoid has a perfect flank position here as he looks for the Shockwave. Pulls out Beryl, but Beryl's going to use the hook to get himself out. 20 seconds on the Infernal Dragon. Only third of the game. Beryl misses the hook just to the side. Kaiser stepping in, has the Solar Flare.
Again, mid lane is open though. DK, they look like they want to walk back into the river, going around.
Solar Flare onto Beryl. He survives somehow. The locket just enough to keep him alive. But here comes Armut. Dives onto Showmaker. They're looking for the damage onto wards. The Fed Jace. They can't get it, but they will take Beryl. Equalizer coming out. Counter locket as Kaiser keeps himself alive.
TP and 8 from Khan.
Nice body block there from Armut as well to keep his support alive. The TP towards top, and that will be soul points now for Mad. They will be graced with the Infernal Soul if they can secure themselves one more dragon. But you can see how difficult it is for DAMWON to navigate these fights. Mad are getting a little creative, I feel, and something that they did a lot during the finals too. You would expect them to reset, and with DAMWON having prio in mids, they could then gain access to the Drake and set up for the objective first. But Mad don't do that. They actually move back through their own bot side of the jungle, and they collapse on DAMWON in a weird sort of Orianna flank, which ends up giving them control over the Drake and finding a successful fight.
Exactly. It was so creative because that fight could have taken place on any one of a number of fronts. At the inhibitor tower, just dead in the mid lane, but instead utilizing the killer instinct, that map repositioning tool, they fight down in the tri-brush, then have that TP flank. So very quick thinking from the Mad Lions, and DK have to keep up with it if they want to come away with a win, because Armut still holds on to his TP. Khan, very similar thing.
The issue for DAMWON is how shut down Khan has been this game. You can see Mad trying to single him out before fights really begin, because if Khan is dead, DAMWON Kia don't really have that strong front line. Like, Beryl is a support. He is not that tanky. He can't be the guy diving in and trying to get those Gnars off. And currently at 1 and 5, Khan is struggling. A lot of people did wonder when he replaced Nuguri for this DAMWON side, whether he would be able to match up to the former top laner's skill. He is more of a utility player. He is more of a tank player. Varus ult coming out as Armut caught out, but he dives in with the Cyclone, goes down to half HP, will take the kill. Big Shockwave onto 2, the Shockwave coming out as well, but Canyon able to survive. Mad Lions just trying to disengage as Kazi pushes in the mid lane. Khan on the chase, almost has that Mega Gnar, but misses the Gnar. And it has been a series of unfortunate events for Khan this game.
The speed boost from Humanoid's W literally just barely put him out of range of Khan's ultimate. That was so clutch from Humanoid at just the right timing, but they ended up getting 3 towers there in exchange for Armut's life. He didn't use any summoner spells, same for Ghost, but it feels like Mad is just in so much more control than they have been for the majority of this series.
Ultimately, the fight, the death, it means nothing because the Baron is the ultimate prize in just 20 seconds. Summoner spell check-in, no flash on Khan, no flash on Showmaker, a primary initiator and the main damage dealer. At the same time, Karzi, the only player on Mad Lions without a flash, and the player with the most gold on this team. He's 3 items now, but so vulnerable in the coming 5v5.
We're building up to that big 5v5. Look at this ward just outside the Baron pit from Mad. It does have the ability to set up for the TP flank for Armut. He needs to push out this bot wave, and DK, they're trying to use the Fog of War to get Mad to overextend to bait in. Elyoya catches the mid wave to try and gain priority.
Beryl has the flash. Flash hook always an option. Khan 3/4 of the way to raging out in this fight.
I wonder how close Humanoid is to 16. We can see him taking the walls. He's trying to take everything on the map.
He's 70% there.
He's 70%, so he's extremely close to getting that level 16 mark, in which he does. He will have the fully upgraded ultimate. Armor now pushing through bot lane. Again, has the teleport. Mad have control of a mid.
The longer Mad Lions can solve, the better. In 1 minute and 40 seconds, the Infernal Soul enters the rift. That's why DAMWON are immediately going over towards the Baron. They don't want to have both objectives on the map at the same time. Mad Lions have to find a fight.
DAMWON calling Mad to the fight. 7,000 HP on the Baron. Elioya looking for the flank position. Kaiser stepping forward. Armit still has that TP, has the option to flank. He's TPing in. DAMWON will disengage immediately. They see the TP. They say, we don't want this. We will take that summoner spell and we will stop you from getting onto us. Mid lane is pushed up. Mad Lions could try and take the short track in. Armit has a very strong flank position here. Looking for Showmaker, looking for Ghost, but he doesn't quite have the vision right now. There's no blast cone for him. He does have the flash. Khan doesn't have Mega. Khan doesn't have a bar built up either.
Look at the map though. There's waves in mid, waves in bot, and DAMWON, they're frozen here in the river. If they recall, they lose Baron. If they don't, well, they lose their base. The waves are still continuing to hit, and the Mad Lions are making sure they don't go too close to the towers. Otherwise, DAMWON immediately start the Baron.
And what a growth this is from the Mad Lions. We watched them against RNG. They got out macroed. They got pulled around the map, and now against the world champions, they are the ones playing the wave states. They are the ones forcing DAMWON to try and make difficult decisions.
It's been nothing but a story of growth for Mad. They are neck and neck with DAMWON Kia. Many considered this to be a one-sided affair, but DAMWON are changing that. The question is, can they win out this game? DAMWON still incredibly close. This next Drake fight could determine everything, and we look at Showmaker once again. Level 16 for both mids. Oh, the damage onto Kazi is huge. That could be the go signal.
Kazi forced down to 500 HP. There's the heal. Shockwave only hits onto Beryl. Kazi pulls the stopwatch. Where are the rest of Mad Lions? You've got to keep your AD carry alive. Dodges away from the chain of corruption. Khan with a double arm into the wall, but Kazi and Humanoid are still alive. Here goes Armored. Cycloning onto the back line. Khan trying to survive. He jumps across the wall. Beryl, killer instinct from Kazi. He's still alive somehow. Canyon going in. Armor's killed off Canyon, but Kazi's dead as well. Humanoid has to keep himself alive in this fight because Showmaker's going to put so much damage down. Ghost diving in. Knocked up. Taken out. Ghost still alive somehow with the double. Elioya, Kazi, Humanoid, Khan! Elioya's chasing Khan down, but Khan going back in with a mini form. Khan could do it after an awful game for him. He can force Mad Lions away from this Infernal Soul.
Unbelievable! It's a 4 for 3, but Khan, he's healthy, he's on the Gnar, he's building the rage once again. He almost has his ultimate back up, Medic.
Humanoid has only 10 seconds left. Uma Noid for Mad Lions!
He's able to kill Khan, and the Mad Lions will secure themselves the Infernal Soul. Showmaker will not be able to come back alive and TP into the fight. Mad Lions come out on top, and they're trying to break this one down.
You know what? I'm gonna do my best, but I don't even know if the players know half of the things that are happening. It's absolutely unreal. Ultimately, Rumble ult, Orianna ult traded on supports. Karzi, his flash came back up, so he flashes away from the chains of corruption. Now we're in a world where DAMWON have virtually no ultimates. They don't have any ults, but Arma gets into the back line.
So many ults actually missed, and it ultimately comes down to individual execution. Armored is so patient, and he waits, and this is where the flash in from Canyon to get that kill onto Kazi looked like it was going to be it, and now Canyon's out of position.
He puts down the equalizer, but he is caught out, and Mad Lions immediately pull the trigger on the Baron.
Canyon gets punished, going for the top river scuttle crab, and now the Mad Lions, they've got the Infernal Soul. They are going to secure the Baron after falling the enemy jungler. Mad Lions, every step of the way this year, have been doubted. From regular season to playoffs in the LEC, against G2, were doubted. Against Rogue in the finals, were doubted and pulled it back after being doubted in that Game 5. And now on the precipice of going to match point against the reigning world champions.
They have 2.5 minutes on this Red Bull Baron power play. Look at that explosion of gold. Look at the roller coaster that we have had this game. Ghost tries to poke out. Showmaker tries to poke out Elioya, but there are double cannons here, and Mad Lions are unrelenting. They will continue to push in. Wave's not in the best of states. Bot lane is all the way pushed up to their tier 2, but Mad just want the inhibitor. Canyon now back up, has the equalizer. That inhibitor will fall. Khan builds up the Mega. Can jump in. That recall is in a very difficult position if DWG here wanted to go, but in the end, Elioya will get back. Mad Lions will get back, and with a 4,000 gold lead and an Infernal Soul, Mad Lions are winning this game.
The top scuttle crab.
Oh.
It seemed like MSI 2021 can be summarized with one single jungle objective. It is this Scuttle Crab that has caused the demise of so many teams, and it is DAMWON that have now been caught by the top River Scuttle Crab trap. Canyon thought that he was safe. He was not. He gets caught out, and Mad Lions with the Baron take themselves the top inhibitor. Now, can they break the rest of the base of DAMWON? They still have strong poke. They still have pretty good scaling. And it all comes down to how well Mad can manipulate these waves. They have both mid and bot pushing in at the same time.
Beryl gets blasted over! Beryl straight into the midst of the mortar. The solar flare coming out. He tries to hook himself away, but he's already dead! And Beryl was blast coned to his death.
Mad Lions now into the bot lane. Only 4 players from DAMWON to defend the base. They already took the top lane inhibitor. DAMWON losing out again and again. And the utility tools Mad Lions have, they have a GA on Carzzy. They have a Zhonya and a stopwatch on Humanoid. The carries from Mad Lions cannot be touched in the coming fights.
The mid wave is still very far away, but Mad Lions, it looks like for now they're going to tank it. The poke is a lot. It is relentless from Showmaker. He hasn't quite given up the game. Oh, that equalizer is huge. But the heal comes out from Carzzy, the shielding from Humanoid's E, and now Armut on the re-engage.
Khan building up that Mega Bar. Armor chunks him out. He will go back to the fountain to try and heal himself up. GA popped on Carzzy. The poke is devastating here as DAMWON Kia 3 inhibitors down. Look to step forward. Mad will disengage. How long on the equalizer? Canyon still half of that before it comes back up. Mad can reset if they so desire. They will take away as many jungle camps as they can. They will starve DAMWON Kia out of this game. And Mad Lions are on the brink of a historic victory right now as they continue to force DAMWON Kia back into their base.
They're not slowing down. They're not leaving. They are still here. All 3 inhibs gone, but the ultimates have returned for the Mad Lions. 10 seconds away from Armut having a flash for the Cyclone to get into the backline. They have the super minions walking them in. They want to end this game right now.
Onto Ghost. He cleanses away. Oh, not quite enough damage with the collector there from Carzzy. Beryl stepping in as well. He's stun locked up. Equalizer going onto Carzzy. Beryl will fall first. Alyoya takes him out. Armut diving onto Showmaker. He has to stay alive if DAMWON are going to be able to win this fight, and he just about does. But the GA is popped on Armut. The Nexus towers are falling, and Mad Lions may have done it. They are going to take this game as Khan tries to dive in, but Humanoid is just focused on the Nexus Canyon, going in with a stopwatch. Kaiser there as well. Humanoid and Carzzy need to survive. DAMWON have been able to hold on to it for the moment, but Kaiser is still on the backline. Canyon
He solo killed Canyon!
Kaiser there. Khan surviving for as long as he can. The Nexus somehow still alive, but Carzzy is looking for it. The minions will do it. Mad Lions 2-1.
What a game!
Let's go!
These team fights were incredible from both these teams. It came down to inches. And you can see the frustration on Showmaker's face. This man is having a phenomenal series, yet it is not quite enough as Mad once again come out ahead of DAMWON.
No one, I promise you, no one thought that this would be the result today. Mad Lions now on match point. I saw a comment earlier that said anything other than a 3-0 would be the biggest upset I have ever seen. Well, 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 where are we now?
Maybe slightly hyperbole there. Mad Lions played it very well. They are only 2-1 up. Of course, need to close out the series. They have to close it out. I don't want us putting the cart before the horse here. Coming up next, we'll look ahead towards Game 4 as Mad Lions are on match point in today's semi-final.
Nothing makes sense anymore.
Boys,
What's happening?